Welcome to Lesson 3. Today's topic is all about functions, methods, and objects. So what are these things? Functions and methods are a series of statements that have been grouped together because they perform a specific task. A method is the same as a function, except it is inside an object. Which brings up the next question. What is an object? Objects are typically a model of something using data. Objects can have properties and methods. There are objects you will create, and there are also some built-in objects that come with the browser. To create a function, you will need to give it a name and write some statements for it to achieve its task. These statements will go inside the curly braces. This is known as a function declaration. Once you have declared the function, you can execute all the statements in between its curly braces with a single line of code. When you do this, it is often called invoking a function, calling a function, or executing a function. Sometimes you need to give your function some information to perform its task. Your function will need to have parameters declared. These parameters are variables that are used inside the function. Think of it this way. Imagine your debit card is like a function. You have to give your debit card information in order for it to give you your money. This information is a parameter of the debit card. Inside the debit card function, it uses that parameter, your PIN, as a variable and checks if it is the correct PIN. Functions will often return information to the code that called them. They can return a single value or multiple values. When we create functions, we can declare them or use a function expression. Another name for function expression is anonymous functions. The important thing to remember is that the interpreter will look for variables and function declarations before going through each section of a script, which means the function can be called before it is declared. Function expressions cannot be called until the interpreter has discovered them. With that, let's start. So, we're going to start with a basic function. Let me show you the HTML code first. This is our HTML page. It's very basic. We have a few divs with some IDs, which we're going to populate from JavaScript. Let me comment this line of code out, which includes our JavaScript, so you can see what that looks like. And Chrome is misbehaving. Let's close that. Let's just open Chrome regularly. So this is our page without any JavaScript working. So I'm going to enable our script. So all our code is in this file, app1, and let's take a look. So the first thing we're going to do is create a variable called message, and we're going to store a message in it. So which is sign up to receive our newsletter for 10% off. Now we're going to create a function to update the content of an element with the ID that has an attribute of message. So this is our simple function. Here's the this is the keyword function. So we're creating a function with its name, update message. It takes no parameters, and these are the two statements within the function. So var l equals document dot get element by ID message. Store this into this variable called L, and then L dot text content equals message. So take this message and put it into this text content. Then we call the function update message. So when we hit run, guess it's already running. Here we go. So now it populates this field here. If you look at the source code, there is nothing under message. It says welcome to our site, and that has been replaced by this message. So now here we're going to go. We're going to create an object. So let me first comment out this. Let's see if it still runs. Okay. So we're going to create an object called person. So our object person has a property called first name, a last name, and age, and a method called full name, which is actually an anonymous function. See, there we have function, but we haven't declared a name. So what this will do is take the first name, add a space, and add the last name to return the full name. So if we do that, hit reload, nothing happens on the page, but if we go in the dev console, we type person, you'll see we got an object back with the first name John, last name Stevenson, age 25. Now we're going to update the HTML with this from JavaScript. So we're going to do the same, uncomment these 2 lines. So var element name equals document.getElement get element by ID first name. So we're going to look for this element with first name and assign it to this variable lname, and then lname dot text content is going to be person dot first name. Now when we look at that, you'll see the first name does appear here. Again, look at the source code. Here's a paragraph, first name. Nothing in the source code, but that's populated by JavaScript. Again, now we're going to do the same thing with the full name. So we store document, we're going to get the element and we'll store it in this variable called L full name. So L full name, the text content for it, person dot full name. Notice we have these here, so that's telling us that this is a method. So invoke this method, full name, on the object person, which goes back to here and pulls this out. When we look, we'll see the full name is displayed, John Stevenson. Now we can also set up person in a different way. So I'm going to comment these lines out, and that should be empty. So this is called creating objects using a constructor method. So what does that mean? There we go, that's better. Right, just comment this code out. Okay. All right. And so here we create a variable person, which is a new object. And so we didn't define any properties or methods, but we do that afterwards. So we say person dot first name equals Park, person dot last name equals June, person age is 77, and person dot full name equals function, which means we're now declaring a method for person, and we will have this return. And when we do that, we see Park and Park June is returned when we do assign them to the variables. And if we look in our console, type person, we see first name Park, last name June. You can also, you can add things I didn't put here. What do we say? Country equals USA. Now if I type person, now we see we have properties. First name is Park, last name is June, age 77, and we have a new property, USA. Okay, let me cut this out. Okay, now we're gonna have a sorry. Okay, now we're gonna create a template for a person. So we declare this function person to take in 3 parameters: first name, last name, and age. So here we declare this first name equals first name, this last name equals last name, this age equals age. So first off, you're seeing this new thing here, this keyword this. This means this variable belongs to person. It just happens we named it the same as our parameters coming in. So these are all available only inside our function. And so we declared it this way, and we declared this method as well. So now we're going to create two objects, two-person objects. We created Mary Jo. Okay, so we created two-person objects, Mary Jo and Austin Myers. And so we said new person, so we passed in these parameters, Mary, which is going to pass into first name, Jo, which is going to pass to last name, 18, which is going to pass into age. Then our second variable, Austin Myers, is a new person. Austin is going to pass to first name, Myers is going to pass to last name, and 19 is going to pass to the age. And let me turn those on. And so when we look at this, Mary Jo, we see it does, in fact, output person, Mary Jo, and we type Austin. I have these commented out, but I'll type them here. So if we, let's say we didn't want this parameter age, so we can delete Austin Myers dot age. This is true. Now if we look at Austin Myers, the variable Austin Myers, now we see just a first name and a last name. We got removed this property, and we can even add a property. So if we type Austin Myers dot sex equals male, hit enter, and then look again at the Austin Myers variable, we'll see this new property added. And at this point, I want to talk about this real quick. So right here, we have this variable declared outside of all these functions. So this is called a global variable. It means it can work anywhere. Now, anytime you see a variable declared inside a function, those are local. Those you won't be able to access them outside a function. So let's say, like this function person, I'm going to declare this variable here, var happy equals, this is a happy person. I got what does it say? Unused. That's fine. So if I try to save, let's run that. Try to access that variable happy. It's not anywhere. Person dot happy, no, because this is a local variable only available to this function. Now if I do this and change it into a property of this function, it's like say Mary Jo happy. Oops. Then we can get to it. If I just left this as a variable, did the same thing, undefined. Okay, and that concludes part 1 of this lesson.